Hey guys, Tony here. Recently, Anker Nebula reached out to me to do a full video review on their brand new Cosmos 4K SE projector. It has Dolby Vision, NebulaMaster Mode, which includes dynamic tone mapping features, and a hybrid laser and LED light source. Great projector, priced at $1,300. You can check out the link in the description for that review. However, the biggest source of confusion for people is that the older Cosmos Laser 4K is still being sold, and it's $500 more at $1,800. As you can tell just by looking at them, they are pretty much identical with some minor changes to the front for the extra sensors on the 4K SE. It's pretty difficult to tell them apart. So Anker Nebula reached out and asked if I could make a comparison video to educate the viewers on the pros and cons between these two projectors. As always, the thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone, and I really hope that this video will help out those of you that are undecided between these two projectors. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel to see more of my projector review videos, so stay tuned. First of all, we will cover off the main points, which are the same between these two projectors, and then I will describe the main differences as well as the pros and cons. When it comes to the display technology, we have a DLP light source with a Texas Instruments 0.47 inch DMD, which is the most commonly used 4-way pixel shifting chip on the market. Both projectors will produce a certified 4K UHD image with a maximum resolution of 3840 by 2160 pixels from 60 inches all the way up to 200 inches with great focus uniformity. They both pretty much look the same and also have the same dimensions at 10.4 inches by 8.7 inches by 6.5 inches, and that is pretty much where the similarities end. There is a big discrepancy on the price, with the Laser 4K coming in at $1,800 and the newer 4K SE coming in at $1,300. There are some very valid reasons for this, the first and main one being a much brighter light source with the Laser 4K coming in at 2200 ANSI lumens and the 4K SE producing a maximum of 1800 ANSI lumens. This is largely due to the pure laser being used in the Laser 4K versus the hybrid LED and laser being used in the 4K SE, and you can clearly see that even at 120 inches, 16 by 9, that the Laser 4K does appear to have a brighter and more detailed image. If you're in a brighter room with more ambient light, having the additional 400 lumens could make a big difference. When it comes to the throw ratio, the 4K SE is slightly better if you want the projector to be closer to the screen, with a throw ratio of 1.2 to 1 versus the 1.27 to 1 of the Laser 4K. This is situational, but for both projectors, neither of them have an optical zoom feature or lens shift, so it will be necessary to place the projector exactly on point to fill the screen unless you want to use keystone, which will leave some light reflections on the surrounding wall as well as reduce the image quality. I always recommend proper placement of your projector if it is possible, with slight keystone to deal with it if you have no choice. Another difference between these two is the newer 4K SE supports Dolby Vision natively, so if your source device like an Apple TV or a Blu-ray player can play Dolby Vision, the 4K SE will switch over to Dolby Vision tone mapping. I am a huge fan of Dolby Vision, and in the past on some of my other projectors, I've used devices like HD Fury VR Room to trick the source device into displaying the Dolby Vision tone mapping. However, with the 4K SE, that's not necessary. The original Laser 4K does not support Dolby Vision, so if that's something that's important to you, you should factor that into your buying decision. Another big difference between these two models is that the 4K SE supports HDMI 2.1 versus 2.0 on the Laser 4K. In my opinion, there are not a huge amount of devices that really need to be 2.1 outside of gaming consoles and the like, and the need for higher refresh rates is not needed for movies which play back at 24 frames per second. But if you do want to game, having the 2.1 will also future-proof your setup, also having eARC on the 4K SE versus ARC only on the Laser 4K. Check out the comparison videos I have made here between both models in the same environment and lighting conditions. In terms of the operating system, we have the Android TV version 10 on the Laser 4K with the use of a dongle. This doesn't allow for native 4K Netflix, unfortunately, if you do want to use the built-in Netflix on the projector, whereas the Cosmos 4K SE has the full version of Google TV, which allows for native installation of Netflix and other apps, which will support Dolby Atmos for pushing back the audio stream to your sound system, as well as the native 4K support for Dolby Vision. Personally speaking, I don't use the built-in OS on any projector that I've ever used, as I have an Apple TV and a Zidu media player, but this video is for all of you out there that might want to use the Nebula projector as an all-in-one device, which leads me to the speakers. The 4K SE speakers are actually pretty decent. There are two 15-watt speakers which do support Dolby Audio. However, the Cosmos Laser 4K has 4 speakers inside, which does give that extra oomph to the sound. Personally, I prefer to use a projector with my 7.2.4 Crick speaker setup, which also has a Yamaha A8 receiver and also an external power amplifier, but definitely the Laser 4K has a deeper sound when it comes to the direct comparison between both projectors. Also, when it comes to the sound, people have been asking about the noise performance of the projector. I'll show you the ambient noise here on the screen from my decibel reader. Both projectors feel that they're roughly the same, and while you can hear them when there's no audio playing, during movie playback I couldn't hear any fan or projector noise at all. So a brand new feature of the 4K SE is the NebulaMaster Mode, which is a proprietary image processing engine and something that I'm really happy to see built into a projector. I'm not saying that it can replace the likes of a video processor, but having real-time image processing is something that I hope more companies will incorporate into their projectors. This engine can do things like optimize the contrast for each scene, as well as the grayscale, with each projector being calibrated to an ISF standard of 2.2 gamma. This does help greatly with the black floor as well as the grayscale accuracy. This also includes a 3D LUT applied to each projector that compensates for the differences in each projector unit, as well as other features like decontouring, which can smooth out color banding. These features are not available on the Laser 4K. So the 4K SE has IEA 4.0, which is essentially a real-time system that does things like autofocus when the projector is moved into a different location, auto obstacle avoidance by keystoning the image and making it square. There is also an auto screen fit function to detect the borders of a projector screen, which again uses keystone, as there is no optical zoom on either projector, but it can be a cool feature if you can't place your projector in the exact spot for it to fill the screen. We also have wall color adaptation, which will use the sensors at the front of the projector to determine the wall color and adapt the colors to offset the shift from pure white. The Laser 4K also has real-time autofocus and keystone correction, auto screen fit and eye guard, but the 4K SE does have the extra features such as the obstacle avoidance, ambient light adaptation, and wall color detection to adjust the color balance. So now that you know the main differences between the two projectors, I'm going to give my thoughts on them and how and why I would pick each one in a specific situation. To me, the main differences are that the Laser 4K is a brighter projector. This allows for use in a room with more ambient light, and it does feel a little punchier. I love Dolby Vision, and that is something that would factor into a buying decision for me personally. Being able to enjoy the tone mapping as the director intended is a pretty special thing, and in that case it does top the scale slightly. That's not to say that HDR on the Laser 4K is no good, because it absolutely is, but it's something to understand as a difference between these two models. If you need to watch in an environment that isn't allowing for perfect placement, the 4K SE might be the way to go. With the real-time adjustments it can make to the image, you can place it where you want and it will fill the screen without having to mess around too much with the settings. Also, having native Netflix is pretty cool, but again for me, I'd use my Apple TV to stream Netflix, so it doesn't factor as much. In terms of picture quality, they are both pretty close, with the Laser 4K having a sharper and brighter image over the 4K SE, but both have a very similar looking image. Price, of course, is the biggest determining factor, so once you weigh up all of the differences between them, if budget isn't as much of a problem, you could go for the brighter Laser 4K. So that pretty much sums up the video comparison between the Anker Nebula 4K and the 4K SE. I hope it helps you with your purchasing decision, and of course I will have links in the description to where you can buy both projectors. I will also leave a link in the description to my review of both of these models, and they will be in the card after the video finishes. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel to see my future videos, but that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.